Tonight, as we wait to see if the U.S. tariffs reappear, what Canadians are doing to avert the crisis. Will Regina City Council approve a significant cost increase for homeowners? Get your shovel ready. Significant snowfall is on the way for southern Saskatchewan.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Tuesday, February the 4th, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Hi there, thank you for watching. We begin with news of a suspicious death investigation at Carry the Kettle, Nakoda Nation. Our Helena Mahalik in Saskatoon has been following the story and joins me now. Helena, what do we know so far?
RCMP say 4 people have been found dead on the Nation about 80 kilometers east of Regina. Firehills First Nation Police Service received the report at about 11:15 on Tuesday morning. The deaths were deemed suspicious right away, and RCMP Major Crimes took over the investigation. Then Tuesday afternoon, around 3:15 p.m., there were multiple reports about a man pointing a gun at Zagame Anishinabek. The First Nation is just over an hour east of Carry the Kettle. RCMP stressed they do not know if the 2 incidents are connected, but police remain at both locations. They say there is no risk to public safety, and if that changes, the public will be notified.
Helena, have we heard anything from the community at this point?
I had a phone call with Carry the Kettle's chief, Scott Ishipi. He says he just asks for respect for his nation and says it's not easy for them to deal with at this time. Meanwhile, Cowessess and Muscopeding Soto First Nations have offered their condolence and support to Carry the Kettle through social media. Sam?
Helena, thanks for this. Helena Mahalik in our Saskatoon newsroom. Canadians may be breathing a temporary sigh of relief with the pause on U.S. tariffs, but Donald Trump's threat of a painful trade war is far from over. As Olivia Stefanovich reports, so-called Team Canada will spend the next 30 days trying to avoid it for good.
Less than 24 hours after Canada made new border commitments with the U.S., officials are already reinforcing one of the busiest ports of entry.
Our objective today continues to be to prevent tariffs from being applied to both of our economies. And our objective tomorrow will be the same.
Nearly 10,000 frontline personnel are being deployed at crossings like these, with efforts coordinated by a new fentanyl czar and a new $200 million intelligence directive to crack down on the illegal drug and organized crime.
We are convinced good efforts will prevail, good faith and goodwill. There's a lot at stake here.
I was pleased to see that there were some significant improvements in the package that the Prime Minister put on the table.
Ottawa already announced a $1.3 billion plan to boost border security. Now it's going even further to address U.S. President Donald Trump's concerns, such as listing the cartels as terrorists.
We can't try to appease Donald Trump. We need to fight back and defend our country.
NDP leader Jagmeet Singh says the federal government needs to get tougher.
We need to target his allies like Elon Musk. I've said, let's shut off the flow of critical minerals.
But it's a delicate situation, with hundreds of thousands of jobs hanging in the balance.
The only ones that will be able to convince President Trump are Americans themselves. So we need to continue the pressure.
That includes avoiding American products.
We want to encourage people to buy from Canada.
And buckling in for the ride ahead.
The only thing that's certain is uncertainty for the next 30 days.
And that uncertainty is compelling the federal government to structure its spring budget to fight U.S. protectionism, a sign Trump's threats aren't expected to end anytime soon. Olivia Stefanovich, CBC News, Ottawa.
Here in Saskatchewan, Premier Scott Moe says Donald Trump needs to be taken seriously, but not always literally. He caught up with Adam Hunter Tuesday on The Morning Edition.
I think in the lead up to all of this, there's one individual that for some reason or another desperately seems to want tariffs, and then he happens to be the president of the United States. It's incumbent on the rest of us to, really look to what we want the relationship between the United States and Canada to be after, because it is larger than that one individual.
What do you say to folks who are concerned about this continuing rhetoric about the 51st state and annexing Canada, and this would cause pain? I think was the comment the president made, even up to inviting the NHL champions, Stanley Cup champions yesterday. He's still commenting on this kind of stuff. How do you respond to that kind of threat?
Well, the first pain I had with that was the Edmonton Oilers were the unsuccessful team in that Stanley Cup championship. I say that tongue in cheek because it's very serious, comments by the president, and it just simply isn't going to happen. I mean, Canada's not in any way. Never would we be the 51st state of the United States of America. That being said, they're our largest trading partner and traditionally our largest ally. And I've said a number of times, I think I heard it on a national show, and I thought it was very appropriate with President Trump, is we do need to take what he says very seriously, but don't always take what he says literally. Now that's difficult to not do, in particular when those veiled threats are being thrown across the border. And so we've never quite seen anything like this, and maybe not even 4 years ago in his first term, just with how forward he is with the language that he has. And I think much of it is thrown out to kind of destabilize your thought process as he bargains in his mind from a position of strength. It's incumbent on us to look beyond the language and look to the broader relationship beyond maybe even the individuals that are involved now.
Moving from politics to our other favorite topic, the weather. From extreme cold to incoming snow, we are really getting blasted by winter here. Ethan now pops in with an update from our weather desk. Ethan?
Yeah, we're in for quite a bit of snow in parts of the province, Sam, specifically through southern Saskatchewan. As we head into Wednesday, you can see the area in white here in the snowfall warning. That includes the city of Regina, also Moose Jaw, Swift Current, down to Weyburn, Estevan, and up to Yorkton. 10 to 20 centimeters possible. I think the heaviest band is going to be in an area from around Shaunavon and East End up through Regina and then up on through the Yorkton area. That's areas where we could see 20 centimeters of snow likely by the end of the day. Already, we've seen sort of a preview of this system moving through southern Saskatchewan through Tuesday, specifically into south central and southwestern areas. And sort of the fuel for all of that actually comes from an atmospheric river which is striking the western coast of the United States. It's been bringing snow and cold temperatures to Vancouver and the lower mainland, and a portion of that is breaking off. It's crossing the U.S. Rockies, and that is what is going to be impacting us. We're also talking about the potential for blowing snow and, yes, a return to some very cold temperatures as well, Sam. I'll have all the details in my forecast coming up.
Can't wait. Thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
To local politics now. It is almost budget season in Regina, and for the city, that means a potential increase to its tax rate. Alexander Kwan brings us a look at what is on the table.
If the city of Regina gets its way, the average homeowner in the city could see an increase to their property taxes and utilities. City management wants a mill rate increase of 8.5% and a utility rate increase of 5.8%. For the average homeowner, that works out to about $27 a month or $320 a year. It's a proposal meant to make up for years of mill rate increases well below inflation. City administration says the new money will help expand the city's operations while maintaining service levels. This expansion cannot occur without an increase in funding, the report reads. The request could face an uphill battle, with a portion of the newly elected councillors committed to not increasing the mill rate. The Regina Public Library has already released its request for this budget, a 4.6% increase to the library mill rate. It works out to about 80 cents per month or $9.60 per year, less than one paperback book. Like the city, the library says it needs to make up for decisions in the past.
Like the city, a significant portion of our budget goes to salaries. This is one reason why a mill rate as low as 2.25% increase is not sustainable.
RPL is also looking for council to reaffirm a commitment to $119 million in debt funding for a new central library, a project that has been in the works for 15 years.
If we don't have a commitment for both the debt funding and the mill rate increase over 5 years, those developers who said they'd work with us and those funders who would be interested in donating to the project will fade away.
City Council will debate the library budget and the proposed city budget at a meeting on Wednesday. Alexander Kwan, CBC News, Regina.
Wasn't it just this time last week we were marveling at how lovely and warm it was outside by the river in Saskatoon? People were out biking and walking. Well, not the case today. Another frigid day out there in the Bridge City, and they may not be under the snowfall warning that much of the province is, but there is certainly a lot of snow in their forecast, and that could affect highways as well as we move forward. Ethan will have more details for all of what's to come coming up with you after the break. Stay with us. Canadians have been spared a fresh round of price shocks at the grocery store for now, since U.S. tariffs are in limbo. But as Lindsay Duncombe shows us, Trump's constant back and forth may have boosted backlash.
To buy California oranges or not, for Greg, the decision is about more than price.
I think, like a lot of Canadians, I don't like to be bullied.
And the pause in tariffs won't change how he shops.
So, you know, every few hours we hear new announcements about they're on or they're off or they might be or this rate or that rate. So to heck with that. Like, who are we? What do we want? Why should there be a Canada? Do we care enough?
The immediate threat of higher costs may be on hold, but for shoppers, grocers, and food producers, it just means continued chaos and anxiety.
It's kind of like the executioner has just delayed dropping the knife, right? And so you still, the uncertainty level is deferred, but still very high.
Many Canadians feel betrayed by the U.S., and the delay does not restore that trust.
I don't know if we can really view the USA as the reliable partner going forward that we did in the past.
Not everyone, though, has the privilege of shopping with their emotions. Canadian products often cost more.
If it was affordable, I'd buy Canadian.
Do you think it is affordable?
Absolutely not.
Left trying to satisfy all customers and not go broke, grocers like Anthony Sullivan. He ordered these stickers over the weekend and plans to keep promoting Canadian goods.
Asking customers to maybe change their behavior just a little bit. Try that local BC product. If you're used to your regular brand, maybe take a leap and try something different.
And there may even be a way to keep eating oranges. Look what Greg found.
Mexico.
Finding joy in all the uncertainty. Lindsay Duncombe, CBC News, Vancouver.
Some people have already made up their minds about traveling and spending their money in the U.S. One Regina couple in Arizona right now has since called off an anniversary trip planned for May, and another family in Saskatoon says a lot of the decision comes down to cost.
We can afford it, but it's like, why would we spend that much in Vegas when we could have spend the same amount of money at a nicer trip somewhere in Canada, like say Victoria or Halifax or even Ottawa?
We've been going down about once every year, sometimes once every 2 years, down to California, and have recently canceled those following the election and the tariffs, the American election. It changes because it makes things quite a bit more expensive. Just knowing the dollar conversion rate being as low as it is. Things are more expensive in general, but to then try to get American dollars off the Canadian loonie is not appealing.
You know what else is not appealing? The weather. And that's Ethan's job now.
Oh, lucky me. Yes. I'm just going to escape to Florida now. Anyway, yeah, not Florida-like weather here in Saskatchewan over these next few days. Really hasn't been. Of course, it is winter after all. But yeah, here's a little bit of a taste of what we're in for. I've kind of simplified the weather model here for you in terms of just kind of how the snow is laid out here. The other model that we usually use gives you a bit more detail, but I think this actually gives a better sense of how the snow is going to fall and where those heavier pockets of snow are going to be. We've already been seeing snow throughout much of southern Saskatchewan, but I think as we get into kind of the wee hours of Wednesday morning and in the middle of the night, I think that snow starts to expand a bit northward. Even places like Saskatoon and along the number 11 corridor between Regina and Saskatoon could actually be seeing a little of that snow. But it's really as we get into sort of the afternoon hours on Wednesday, early afternoon, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock or so, that's when that really heavy band in here starts to develop from around, the Cypress Hills up through Regina, eastward along the Trans-Canada corridor, perhaps as far north as the Yorkton-Melville area. And that snow is going to stick around probably as we head into early Thursday morning as well, although by that point, I think the heaviest of the snow will have fallen. And as we get into Thursday, throughout the day, the skies are going to clear pretty quickly as that system begins to move away pretty fast. Now, total snowfall amounts here, I think this is a pretty safe bet of what's going to happen. You'll recall a night or so ago, I said I don't think that the totals are going to be quite as high as what we're seeing here, but it has come to fruition that we are probably going to be looking at a good 15 to 20 centimeters. Again, you see that kind of purple colors here. I think that is where we're going to be seeing that. Up in Saskatoon, central Saskatchewan, it's a good 10 to 15, even through the northern grain belt, not ruling out 5 to 10 centimeters. During the snowfall event as we get into Wednesday afternoon, I think we won't actually be seeing winds picking up all that much. It's after the majority of the snow has fallen into Wednesday night, into early Thursday. That's when the winds start to pick up, gusting 50, maybe 60 in Regina and southern Saskatchewan. So because that snow is going to be really fine and really fluffy and light, it's definitely going to blow around quite a bit, even as we get into Thursday. So that's going to reduce visibilities on the road. It's probably going to be drifting over the road at that point. So even if you have a commute Wednesday and into Thursday as well, you might just want to keep that in mind, that it's still not going to be great. Then after that, our temperatures begin to fall again because the jet stream continues to fall to the south, and these colder temperatures representing into the minus 20s and 30s are going to make a comeback, as you see here. So Regina, after that snowfall moves on through, we see some gusty winds Thursday before things clear out and those colder temperatures come around. Saskatoon, well, I don't have the right icon there for Wednesday, but it's obviously snowfall for Wednesday before we see a little bit of some cloud cover on Thursday with gusty conditions, and then wind chills returning back into the minus 30s for the start of next week, Sam.
All right, thanks, Ethan.
You're welcome.
Have you ever wanted to know what it might be like to use a lightsaber? Spirit of the Dragon Martial Arts School in Regina held lightsaber training for 24 students over the weekend. Take a look.
Well, the lightsaber battle training is just a fun program for kids and youth, just to encourage physical activity, promote a little bit of the martial arts techniques that we would do with the regular martial arts, but just give a little bit of more of a fun twist for the kids. It gets them really excited. As soon as you start using lightsabers, everyone's motivated to work a little bit harder. So fun way to keep them active and busy and something physical for them to do. This is the first time we've done a specific lightsaber class, but we do it in our summer camps all the time. We've been doing it for several years, but first time we've ever had a dedicated lightsaber training session. We'll be doing obviously some from the Star Wars battles, but then we also do some from just non-lightsaber ones that are just good fight scenes, but we just apply it with the lightsabers, and we do a lot of that aren't necessarily fight scenes, but just different moves that help work on the kids' coordination and movement, timing, and such.
It's going amazing. It's pretty fun, but sadly I can't really do much of the spins because I pulled one of my hip flexors the other day. So I really like how they buzz and churn, I guess, when you move them around and hit them with each other. It's better than a regular class because I get to see some people I don't really see that much, since you have to be in Black Belt Club, a little thing here. You have to be in Black Belt Club in order to go to any of the extra classes like tournament or weapons.
This one sold out. We had a lot of students that were disappointed because they couldn't get into it, so we'll be doing another one in the future for sure.
Let me tell you, the most likely scenario is that by the time we lose sight of the object in April this year, the impact probabilities will have lowered enough not to worry about this subject anymore.
The European Space Agency says it's closely monitoring an asteroid that has a small chance to hit Earth in 7 years. Experts believe it has a nearly 99% chance of safely passing by Earth, but that 1% chance could release energy ranging from 5 to 50 megatons. Scientists plan to discuss a global response if the probability stays above 1%. We'll be back after the break. A not-so-serious warning from Saskatchewan Polytechnic.
Robots are coming, like it or not.
One of them is already here. Sask Polytechnic recently acquired a $200,000 robotic dog. He's been named Strider. The school's Digital Integration Center of Excellence uses him for teaching students, but also for research and paid-for projects with industry partners. PACM says robotic dogs can enter hazardous areas unfit for humans. That includes carrying sensors for mapping underground mines.
They want to know if we can predict when those mine walls will collapse, and so having a high-resolution image of a mine wall will help us to develop some AI that can better predict when those walls are going to collapse, so that the mine companies can then take the interventions in a planned order rather than as a response.
Along with navigating hazardous terrain, Strider can also do things like inspections, surveillance, mapping, and security, as well as rollover and fetch with the help of a robotic arm. Along with mining, he'll be used to help support the agriculture and energy industries, just to name a few. Sask Poly bought Strider from Philadelphia-based Ghost Robotics, and instead of a nap or treats after his work is complete, Strider does have to be plugged in to be recharged. People are going to need to plug their cars in too.
They sure are. Maybe I should get one of those to help me forecast the weather. Imagine a robotic weathercaster.
You just start rolling over and fetching during weather?
Exactly. I think it'd be very entertaining. Maybe we should invest in that. Anyway, ideas for a later time when it's not so cold and snowy overnight through Saskatchewan. Again, that snow begins moving in sort of from southwest to northeast as we head through the night, as the temperatures drop back into those low -20s. A bit of a reprieve from the extreme cold in far northern Saskatchewan as we're sort of into that low to mid -20 range. The Churchill region has the honor of being the only part of the province that will actually see some sunshine, I think, through Wednesday, as the far north continues to be under cloud cover with a little bit of snow at times and some breezy conditions. South and central, of course, the focus is all on that snow around from the Val-Marie area up through Regina, up to Yorkton by the commute Wednesday morning. Second heavy band of snow moves in through the afternoon, and that's moving in through kind of eastern sections of the province by that point, as we see those temperatures still back into those minus teens for the day, Sam.
So if I were to ask you, what's your hot beverage of choice to get through the next couple of days? Are you a coffee, a tea, a hot chocolate guy?
Nice hot chocolate, I think, would be...
We're going to go through a lot of that.
Yeah, I think we stock up now while you can.
Thanks, Ethan.
You bet.
That's it from us. For more news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/sask or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for watching.